man. Not one of these cases.
She was a happy baby, always smiling, always curious about stuff. She was wonderful. She was just a wonderful baby. We keep telling her not to leave her by herself. Not only me, my friend across the street too. But she always be here by herself.
We just couldn't believe that she was gone.
Hello. I stumbled across this case that it really broke my heart. Reading through it, it was about a mother who accidentally killed her 1-year-old pretty much, and having pretty much a 2-year-old of my own. It was a very emotional adventure going through all these articles and videos and pictures, and I think the world should know about this one as much as I did the last video. I printed off most of the cases so I could summarize it. So we'll get through it together. So this mother decided to go on her vacation and leaving her 16-month home alone. What she did was she put a bunch of liquids and snacks and food in this playpen so she can pretty much fuck off for a bit while the kid, like this baby, was alone in a crib. And so she took off to her vacation to Detroit and Puerto Rico, and she was gone for pretty much 10 days. Within that 10 days, she took a bunch of pictures and she posted online, one being on the 9th of June, changing her Facebook profile picture. But pretty much on the 3rd day of her on that vacation was pretty much the last day of that baby's alive. There was a quote in that profile picture she put, and it broke my heart because it was all symbolizing, like, you know, you live once, you're enjoying your life, but as that picture is being posted, will be the last breath that baby took. Michael O'Malley, the police officer that went to the residence on the day that the baby wasn't responding, he quoted that she was extremely dehydrated, and this was one of those cases that was going to stick with him for a long time. Quote O'Malley: "It's in our job to represent the victims of today. We spoke on the behalf of this 16-month-old Jaylin, who is no longer with us due to the selfish decisions of her mother. This conversation today is a first step towards justice for Jaylin."
Happy, always playing and smiling and laughing.
Pictures and happy memories. That's all neighbors have of 16-month-old Jaylin Calendario.
I absolutely loved her. She was like a little sister to me.
Sulem and her mom Iris didn't want to show their faces. They said the first time they met Jaylin was last August. They were supposed to watch her only a few days, but they said her mom didn't return for a month and a half.
I was the one calling her, look, I need milk, I need money. I don't have no money to buy milk for you, baby. What am I supposed to do?
Fast forward.
It's just mind-blowing because this is not the first time she's left this baby alone. Her neighbors reportedly saying that she would do this often, but it would always be them babysitting, or she would have them go over. And I guess the time before this incident was that she went off somewhere and she dropped the baby off at the neighbors and told them that she was going to be back for a week, which ended up turning into a month and a half. And so the neighbors were trying to contact her about the money, like she needs milk, she needs diapers and stuff like that, and she would pretty much ignore them for the time that the neighbors was taking care of the child. At this point, that this baby was referring to the neighbor as mom because of how often this neighbor would take care of this baby in the absence of this mom.
To this month, and Cristel Calendario is charged with her daughter Jaylin's murder. Court documents show the 31-year-old admitted to leaving her baby home alone June 8th while she went on vacation to Puerto Rico and Detroit. When Calendario returned home 8 days later, police say she found Jailin unresponsive.
We were absolutely heartbroken. We loved Jailin a lot.
Iris and Sulem wish Calendario would have asked them to watch Jailin.
I wish for her.
The neighbors quoted, "This is Jailin really didn't deserve what happened to her. She was amazing and really adorable, and I'm going to miss her a lot." And it's sad that it's the neighbor probably feeling these emotions because she was kind of like the mom to this child. And it's almost heartbreaking, to say the least.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Those are the neighbors of 31-year-old Crystal Candelario. She's the Ohio mother who allegedly left her 16-month-old daughter, Jailin, home alone while she went on a 10-day-long vacation. And after she finally returned home, Candelario found her daughter unresponsive. Shocking, right? Well, baby Jailin had died in the home where she was left, surrounded by dirty blankets soiled with urine and feces, and left inside of a pack-and-play. Police say that the poor child was severely dehydrated at the time of her death. And now Candelario, the baby's mother, is indicted by a grand jury for murder, felonious assault, and endangering the welfare of her child.
Again, disturbing, and I would almost argue confusing. Who would think that it would be safe to leave a 16-month-old baby in a pack and play for any period of time, especially up to 10 days? You know, when we look at a case like this, we are, again, postulating how this child may have passed, sadly and tragically. And I do think that dehydration, heat illness, had to play a factor. Obviously, we will be waiting for the coroner's final report. But, you know, this is a situation where a child is essentially caged in that pack and play. She has no access to food or water. And I think very quickly, especially in a child at that age, dehydration will set in like immediately. We're talking about in a day to 2 days. And this is not by any way, shape, or form a comfortable way to live, or unfortunately how Jailin passed.
Certainly not, Dr. J. I have a really unpleasant question to ask you, but it's a critical question. In your opinion, did baby Jailin suffer before she died?
She tragically suffered, and she suffered quite a bit. I mean, this will be a child that was undoubtedly crying, sitting in her own urine, her own feces, and she did not cry short periods of time. She cried until she could not cry anymore. And it is heartbreaking to think of this and this tragic way that a child should die, because it should never happen.
Dr. J, when we think about this period of time, 10 days, you have to wonder how soon into that 10-day period might that horrible suffering have ended? If you had to put forth your best educated guess on that, what would it be and why, please?
Yeah, I'm not going to play corner in this situation because I really don't know, but I would venture to guess it would have been sooner than later. This 16-month-old cannot sustain without water, without nutrition for a very long period of time.
Oh, it is so heartbreaking. Dr. J, stand by. How do you see this case playing out for her? We know she's going to be in court this morning, 9 a.m. for one of her pretrial hearings. How do you think this is going to go, please?
Well, it's going to go poorly. And if you're the defense lawyer in a case like this, you know, you are going to scratch your head in terms of what can I do to zealously represent somebody that presents as depraved, as a mommy/monster. You know, you see cases where someone leaves a child unattended for a short period of time in a car overnight. But it is very rare to see someone abandon a child for a period of time and return. It's almost a slow torture. It is premeditated. It is planned. So if I'm the defense lawyer, I'm going to try to confront the medicine with the mens rea, with experts that can put this behavior in some sort of context. Was there a mental disease or defect? But Julie, the problem is to find someone that could say she had a substantial mental disease or defect that prohibited her from controlling her conduct and her actions. When you juxtapose the fact she was on vacation for 10 days. So I think this is one where you really have a hard time coming up with a defense because the medicine is against you, the facts, the sympathy are against you. So a very, very tough hurdle for the defense.
Tasked with representing Crystal Candelario, would you be concerned that that could be what's coming next from the prosecution?
Absolutely. These are terrible facts. We see cases all the time where people treat pets and animals in this manner and receive harsh sentences. To treat your own child like this, clearly, if you're a prosecutor, you have to consider whether the death penalty is the appropriate mechanism, the appropriate punishment, the ultimate punishment. Because this was a torture. This was heinous. It was atrocious and cruel. It actually fits the aggravating factors that the state would have to prove to achieve a sentence of death. So, if I'm the defense, you have to deep dive this person from childhood forward to see how this mother morphed into a monster. But if I am that prosecution's office, I am having meetings right now, making a determination whether I file that notice.
As Crystal's career was, she worked at Hope Academy North Coast between 2019 to 2020 at a school, and then she started at a Citizen Academy in Glenville since the fall of 2024 to moment's time. There's a statement of her boss pretty much at her job. He said, based on the recent reports regarding charges brought against Crystal, the building substitute at a Citizens Academy in Glenville since November of 2022, we have terminated her job pretty much. She's no longer with us. In this moment of time of this recording, where she stands is that she's pretty much held on a $1 million peace bond in the Cuyahoga County Jail, and she is due for court for June 28th. It is unknown that has retained an attorney and entered a plea to try to keep up with the updates until the last court date of June 28th. I was reading a little bit more of it because this is the resources I got at the moment, and they're just slowly updating by the hour. And the last time I've read that she does now have an attorney, and she does have her court fixed on a different time, except for the one that's written here. But this was just the last update. But now the current update is that she is pleading guilty to her charges, and so they're going to move forward to a different court date instead of the June 28th one, and they're going to do it on March. And now that she's pleaded guilty to being a murderer and basically like the neglected parents, there's like a big list of it, but the bigger one is the murder. And since this was she was arrested in Ohio, she's pretty much could be on the lines of the death penalty, but she is going to be serving life. We're just going to find out about that part into the court in March, where I'm hoping that if I follow along that I'll keep updated with this case. And that was my last note. I guess the part of the section is that it's my personal opinion about it all, and it's just the fact is I have a kid too that's around the same age, and I couldn't at all leave my kid alone to the neighbors for a month at a time, or fuck off for a vacation for almost 2 weeks. It's like I go to work every day and I still feel obligated to still be in my kid's life, and let alone someone trying to fill that role for me when I know I can. And this little girl didn't even get a chance to experience life yet. And it's like, I get it that parenting can be hard and we don't have the time for ourselves, but we don't gamble with life for our selfish desires that we might miss out. Maybe she was a young parent and she felt needed to relive some shit. I don't know her personally. I did check up on her Facebook and it's a lot of forms, so I can't read it. But the point being is, I guess, a child's life was taken because of someone's selfish choice and taking these lewdish pictures and happy living life at the cost of taking one's life, let alone that life being your child. And it seems like the neighbors were more heartbroken than the mom. Like, she was emotional, but the neighbors seemed hurt. And it was just the line that I read that they're going to miss her. It's just kids. The only thing is, I can say that because she was still a kid and we were all born in sin, but she didn't do anything wrong, and I believe that she'll be given a chance in heaven. I don't think it's cruel as like blaming God for the decisions of this. It's just man tend to be sinful creatures. So I believe she's in a better place and that we can still pray that nobody else or other kids will be fall into this type of pain and torture that this child's been through. Because 10 days crying for your mother, the only person that you're supposed to trust, and she wasn't there. Starving, thirst, while you go and enjoy your vacation, happy, privileged, while your child suffered in its own filth. And like I said, the doctor said that this child was tortured. And so for me, it's like I can't, in the heart of me, wish upon the worst on this mother. I just hope that may God have mercy on her and that hopefully she repents and maybe seeks out Jesus. And I don't think she'll be able to correct the wrongs she's done, but at least try and to be a better person and until the time comes where if they're considering a death penalty for this woman, that on her last remaining days that she really puts thought into it and that she can fix whatever she can before it's too late. And thanks for watching.